Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature, and Starlight has gone to park to park to park to park, and now I'm at another park, so I really just have to get this video going now. Sorry about that. And I hope you're able to get out in nature somewhere. And you know, right now it's a Saturday, and it took me a long time, but I finally got to go to a beach today. So I really enjoyed the place that I went today. That was probably my best beach ever. So anyway, I hope you're able to get out in nature somewhere. Either go take a hike or go, you know, like at a park like I am. And I just visited another park before this, and it had lots of stuff for kids and adults, and I was like, wow, we need that. It had a lot jammed in one park. They really need more space. But you know, there was a lot of families out, so you know, take your kids out. If you have kids, get them out. You know, it's so important. And go visit different places, you know, check online like Starlight does all over. And it's beautiful what I'm able to do right now, because I never know where God's gonna have me the next day and where I'm gonna go and all that. So I do love this. So anyway, I really hope you're taking good care of yourself. Be kind, not just yourself. And you know, I'm gonna put it the way I really want to say it is, don't be stuck up out in public, you know. But like I made a video yesterday about being balanced. You know, it's okay to say hi, and I understand a lot of people don't trust people, but that is a big huge problem why we have the things going on in this world, is because people are offended. They think that you're angry with them. They think you know, that you don't like them. And so it really does cause a lot of confusion out in public, you know, where people are like, oh, why are they looking at me like that? And maybe they are having a bad day, you know. So let's be kind and out in public. So anyway, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you can find me. I'm going to get a different background instead of the cars, if I can get the right light. So if you are new for my YouTube channel, welcome. Sorry, the light is still not good here. You could find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, you can also leave a message down below, beep, 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 and you could give this video a thumbs up. I know I'm doing everything in a different order, so please give this video a thumbs up. Also, Starlight normally doesn't say also, but don't forget the notification bell. That way you do not miss any videos. And you could check out my playlist. And let's see. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. So anyway, here I am. I'm just gonna do the best I can. I don't know this park. I'm hoping that there's some hiking trails, because I did do a lot of reviews, but I don't think this has got any hiking trails. But we're just gonna wing it tonight, because I can't keep on riding all over in this area, because I put a lot of miles and a lot of minutes already today. So here we go. I'm sorry, I kind of pushed the wrong button. And so now it's getting a little later, that the sun is in different spots right now. So what I like about parks like this is that I believe it seems like when I was more south in Florida, it got stricter and stricter and stricter as far as rules go. So Starlight's not a big, huge fan of that, you know, and it does really cause a lot of problems with the people out in the communities, you know, where they had rules out at parks where dogs are not allowed unless they were trained dogs, you know. Like if you had a dog that was trained, certified trained, then you could go and take your dog to a park, you know. And I understand, you know, that they, you know, there's a lot of reasons why, which I'm not really understanding those reasons. But anyway, that is not what I'm going to talk to you about today. But it's so great when I do go out in parks like this, where even though Starlight does not have any pets, is I get to enjoy other people's dogs, so I know that right now this looks really plain because it's just a sidewalk. So anyway, I'm gonna have to make things up to you on another day when I have more time, because I did go to the beach earlier and got to jump in some waves. Starlight's like, these waves were perfect for Starlight because they weren't that strong, so Starlight was having fun with other people that was at the beach. So it is so fun to get out, so if you haven't been out in a while, or maybe you haven't went on vacation in a while, is, depending on where you live, hey, get out, and go discover different places, go out to an ocean somewhere, say, hey, I'm in the New York area, or, you might be in a more north area where, it's got to be warming up. I'm not sure what the temperature is these days, maybe 60s or 70s, but it's so important to get out in nature and get out of your routines and stuff like that. So anyway, today I want to talk to you is, there's a lot of people out in the world, and I meet a lot of people on my way as I travel around and stuff like that. And this video is about who or what is your God. There's a lot of people in the world that have, even though there's one true God, is that not all of us worship and serve the same God, and a lot of you know that already, because when you go out in public or to see how people treat each other when they're out in public. And that's why it's so important to, be kind to other people. And I'm just going to show you the different things at this park, because I really don't know what else to do right now as far as a video. So Starlight would have loved to have done this if I got sneakers on. So anyway, is who or what is your God? And I did learn a lot when I went in church, and I know I put a few videos right in a row of different topics as far as churches and cult churches and stuff like that. So it's amazing how there's times I put videos out like that and I think, I don't even care if nobody watches these videos. It's so important to get these videos out. And I can't even tell you how many times it's happened where I'm thinking, I'll put this video out, and bam, it gets hit good. And then there's other times I'm thinking, hey, I should get a lot of views on this video. And it's about the message. It's not about me. It's about the message. So a lot of people, sometimes they get wrapped up on how many views, but it's about the message. It's not about the messenger. It's about what the messenger is saying. So as far as gods, I do know there's some people, they might think that they're worshiping God, because just because somebody has, lots of money, or, they might be popular or might even be famous, it doesn't necessarily mean that they actually are worshiping the same God you or I might be worshiping. So who and what God are you serving out in the world? And I know I did learn a lot when I went to church, and now I got to question everything as far as what I was being brainwashed to believe, So somebody recently reached out to me and was concerned about, that because they are being programmed and they really don't know what the Bible says and whether the Bible is right or wrong, what is right or wrong, what is, the things that are in the Bible that is good for us and things that are not good, and I don't want to really say good or bad, but there's a lot of interesting things in the Bible, of course. Starlight's read her Bible over and over again. I had to, when I was going to church. So with that is that, I was learning how, you weren't supposed to worship anything else except for God. And Starlight definitely was guilty a long time ago, where I was putting a man on a pedestal, and then I realized what I was doing, and then I had to stop doing that because, it could ruin people. And this is exactly what happens to, and I have to say, the person that I did put on a pedestal, it ruined him, really, to who he was when he started out and who he is now. He's not the same person he was, because that's how these things happen, is that people will put him on a pedestal and get his pride going. And he might have started out really good with a pure heart, and that's how a lot of people start off with when they go to church. And corruption can happen really quick. They get, a lot of times they get young men, or I'm not going to even talk about women preachers, we're not going to go there. So anyway, as like I said before in other videos, is that when it comes to church, all kinds of spirits go into church. And that is reason why there's things that go on at church that shouldn't go on, because these spirits come in and they get the pastor, they puff the pastor up. And this can even happen on YouTubers on YouTube, where they over exaggerate, and it kind of gets his head all swelled up, or even her, females. So I do pray. I am learning. It's interesting how I can watch this and see this afar away, and then say, universe, please, angels, please help me not to be like that, later on, and when my YouTube channel grows, and when I am rich and abundant. But when that day comes, and it's not about the money, it's about the message and what it actually is doing to help people out and see them change their lives around. But we really have to be careful. We can really do a lot of damage. Sometimes, the spirits, they know what they're doing. I'm just got to get in the shade over here. But these spirits, they know what they're doing. They will, really make somebody feel good and puff them up, and it will, and it can go to their head, and if they're not aware of it. And a lot of times, though, even Hollywood stars, we're not supposed to, Starlight wanted to be a Hollywood star her whole life. Starlight still would love to entertain, like dancing and singing. I would, if I need to practice some Michael Jackson songs or some Bob Marley music or something. So Starlight would love to do something like that, but not to really be out there to be famous for that, because I understand how that stuff works. But just to lift people's spirits up and make them feel good. So we do have to be careful out in the world. Is that, like I was mentioning, is that somebody was worried about, like, praying to the angels for help, and the angels God created the angels for us, so then we can ask for help. And of course, in the Bible, it says to ask in Jesus' name. And, so everybody's got their own way of praying and stuff like that. To me, God knows my heart, and he knows, not that God is a he, but God knows when I pray, I am talking to the same Heavenly Father, where his son is Jesus, so God knows that I'm speaking to him, God. And so God knows our hearts, and that's what's important. It's about the heart. We could say all kinds of stuff with our tongue, but God knows our hearts. We cannot deceive God. We can be deceived, but God is not fooled by people being fake and doing stuff to be seen. And that happens a lot in the churches, is people do a lot of stuff to get credit and to be noticed at the church. Starlight almost fell. I started doing that when I was younger, when I started going to church, and then I'm like, no, I did not want to be like that. So I did change, and I pulled myself back. And that's what you got to do. We all can fall guilty of letting pride come in our hearts, and there's some people that will be so judgmental, and where they don't want you to ever say anything good about yourself. But there's balance when it comes to that. You got to be balanced in that area, because pride can ruin people, and I have seen it right in my face, and I was blind to it for the longest time. And so God woke me up to notice some things about some people that I knew and people that I was following, and now I can't follow that person anymore, because I realize I'm like, you gotta really know if you're, and when I say follow, it's because there's some people out there that are trying to help people out in the world, but they can get corrupt because money might come. The love of money is the root of all evil. So if they love money more in life than really helping people out, the money can overtake them, and pride can overtake them, and where they, people could even tell them, hey, you're having a problem with money, and they might even know it. They might know it, but that pride and all that is overpowering them, and they're not willing to change because it feels good at that moment, that power that they have. And to have that much power is very hard to, to keep yourself humble and stuff when you got a lot of money and you got a lot of people that follow you. So I'm praying ahead of time. I'm like, universe, God, please help me, later on in my life to not to be like that. Please help me to be strong. Help me, not to get prideful about those things, because there's going to be a time where Starlight might get tested or something like that later on in my life. Somebody just threw a ball out of nowhere. So we do have to be careful, and like angels, it's okay to pray to angels for help, like guidance, like I do every day for help. But the angels shouldn't come, you shouldn't have them come before God. God should be the Almighty, so don't let other people, don't worship other people and putting people on a pedestal, because, you might really care for them, and you might love them as a person for what they're doing, but if you're not careful, you can really mess them up in such a way that they might be blind to it, and where it could go to their head, and then you might look at them later on and say, what, now I didn't see this before. I didn't see how pride was in there and all this stuff. So you got to be careful with the people that you love and you look up to. And I hope you're not worshiping Hollywood stars, So I'm going to take a look at this. This is an animal I did not see out here yet, so I can't wait until I see one. But they made a statue of this. Isn't this pretty cool? Starlight's looking at the stars, but I have not seen one of these animals in the water yet. So I don't know what God. There's people that, sports teams, that's their God, There's a lot of gods out there. Hollywood stars, the ones out there, and people worshiping them, and, they go out and buy everything that they sell. And so we have to be careful of what kind of, who we are worshiping out there, and that's what they want us to do as far as when it comes to the Matrix, is to put other people before God. And so there is a lot of people out there that worship different gods. So we do have to be careful, and that we don't turn, we are all gods, but, not to try to overdo who God is, and that's what happened to the devil, is that he wanted to, he thought he could do better than what God could do, so you don't want to get to that extreme and act like you could do a better job, because, so I don't know who you have as a God, and I just, if you're having issues about, maybe you're overdoing it on sports teams and sports players, a lot of people are. I see it all the time when I'm out in public. I seen a guy not too long ago where he's so connected to some kind of sports. I don't know if it was baseball, But, he was really it just pulled him right in. He was riding a bike and he was hearing it on his headset, and, it's overtaken the person where they can't even leave their, it's one thing to watch the sports at your house and watch the game and then, go somewhere, maybe for a hike, but are you still listening to that, that baseball game or that football? Then you can tell really if you're worshiping them and putting them before God. So we do have to be careful, and, if you do have a lot of money, it's great if you have a lot of money, as long as you have done it, got that money in a healthy way, in a correct way, where you're not being dishonest to other people. Like, how did you get all that money? If you did it, by lying and deceiving people to get that money, that will, you reap what you sow. So God does let us get, we think God lets us get away with a lot. And we do, in a way we do, but, there's a time that we have to face those things that we do if we're not getting right with it. So I hope you get a lot from this video, is to, please, make sure, it's up to you who you worship as a God. I can't tell you who to worship, but, like, you only can have one God. There's many gods out there, but it does say, it's kind of hard for me to do this now using the Bible, because, you can't have two masters, though. That does make sense. You can't have two masters. Either you love the one, or you despise the other, or you despise the one and despise the other. But you really cannot have, you can have two masters, but you're going to have to, one day you're going to have to pick and choose which one you really, really worship, So I hope it's the right God, the creator, and of course there's some people, they worship Satan. That's their God, and it's something that there's a power out there that can tap in to people and guide them, and that's, there's a God can do that through his archangels to guide us, and then there's the dark force out there or whatever of Satan, that the same kind of thing happens, where, because I met a guy a while back, a couple of years ago, that we both were getting messages, but, I realized he wasn't getting messages from God. He was getting messages, because he was doing black magic and witchcraft, so he wasn't getting messages from God, but he was being guided and directed just like I am with the archangels, but, he's serving a different God. And that's, hey, God gave us all a free will to decide on our own what God that we're going to serve and what God we're going to worship. So I can't even remember why I came up with this video, but I do know somebody that I do care about, and that might be the reason why, is, sometimes, God lets us get away with a lot for a long time, just like in churches, where there's a lot of, people get upset with God a lot of times because they're saying, hey, why is God not stopping this and stopping that? So yeah, I mean, like, it does actually test people's hearts, see really what they're gonna, so God will use a man or a woman, it doesn't matter, and they could do wicked stuff, and they could be deceitful, and they could be lying, but, God is, seeing who's really fallen for it, just like with COVID came out, how many of us, actually I didn't, but how many of everybody, how many people out there fell for the COVID, how many of you went out and ran and got the injection? So, and, I know some of you I offend already. I mean, you're already upset with Starlight. I just got a message from the universe on that one not too long ago, is that Starlight has a way of triggering people, but it's more than likely that I'm getting your shadow side to pop out, and the Starlight is not, I'm just the messenger. That's all I can say. So, like, when COVID came out, how many injections did you get, So that was a test, those things happen because it does test us out. It does challenge us, it does get us to question things. It get us to think, hey, when we're hearing the news, that's why the news is the way it is. It's like, okay, want to believe everything that is said on the news. Well, then, just like Starlight was believing everything at the church, and and then later on, I finally realized that, oh my, all that time, and it's sad because I have told people different information when I was younger, and that now they're actually saying, hey, but you said when you were younger to do this way, and they don't understand. I was deceived. That's why I said all that stuff when I was younger, because I didn't know I was being deceived and believing what I was told. I just believed what they told me. So in life, you really got to question everything and study it, research it, or whatever that you got to do to make sure what you're being told. And the problem with that, when I say that, is I just told somebody this not too long ago, because I was trying to help them out and guide them. And some people, what it is? They don't want to do the work. They just want all of it handed to them. They don't want to go and study about what it is and how, like to find out about it. And they're like, well, you know what? I know you're saying that, like I'll just say, for instance, the Bible, that all of it's not 100% accurate, that things have been taken away, things have been added. And they're like, well, I'm just going to trust it anyway. Hey, what can I say? I can't force that person. I said, hey, check this out, study this, study that, but they don't want to do the work. And then later on, when things go crazy in their life, then they're like, how did I get here? Well, God does use people. God used a lot of different kinds of people to help people out. And sometimes, maybe more than sometimes, but some people don't want the help. They act like they need the help, but then they really don't want the help. They don't want to hear it. It falls on deaf ears, because it does say that in the Bible, and that is true. Those are things that I could say is true, that you could talk to somebody and pour your heart out to that person, but they heard it, but they're not hearing it. So you can. And don't get upset with those people. It's just something that they're going through and that they got to learn on their own. You can't force anybody into nothing. So, just pray for those people if you've been working on people. And, it's just, that's how the matrix is. We're all tested one way or another. You could be tested on, like, God could test you where the information, and you got a friend or a relative or somebody really close to you, or even a stranger, it doesn't even matter who it is, and the truth about something, you know it because your life experience, and it just goes with what's going on with somebody else. And we all are tested all the time. So whether you know the truth and you don't even share the truth, so we're tested all the time. So you could know stuff, but then you got fear that's actually stopping you from letting other people know about this thing that could set them free if you told them, or at least plant a seed in their mind. They might not believe it, but at least planting the seed, and at least getting it out of your mouth, getting those words out of your throat, out of your mouth, and out in the air so they can actually hear it. Because I do believe this is God's word doesn't go void. I believe that, even our words, when you say something and it's truthful, they might ignore what you said right there and then, but imagine how many times later on somebody said something to you, and then you're going through stuff, and then you're thinking about that topic that you talked to them about, and now they're actually, I wonder if they're right. I wonder, I wonder about that now, because a lot of times we're so prideful, we don't want to admit that somebody else could be right, no matter who they are. It might be somebody that has absolutely no education, and if they were 100% right, you'd be embarrassed to say that they were. You would not want to admit to that person's right and you're wrong. And that's the big problem with people, including myself, is pride does have a way of affecting us in so many different ways. So anyway, I love you so much, and I don't know who your God is, and I don't know if you're worshiping money, because there's a lot of people, a lot of Hollywood stars, celebrities out there. There's people that make it big on YouTube, and you know what? They got caught up. Yeah, they did. They got caught up, and they let people, deceive them by puffing them up, where they're prideful now, and even if they heard the truth and know the truth, that they don't want to change their ways, not at least not right now. But I hope they do. I hope eventually, sometime down the line, some years later, that God works on their hearts and says, hey, there's people out there that they were trying to help you. I've been trying to use those people to help you, but God's gonna, like, hey, I'm just gonna let you learn. So we all have those lessons in life, not to let pride to come in our heart, and not to have the love of money in our heart, because that is the root of all evil. It's all right to enjoy money and stuff like that, but it does turn a lot of people in a bad way, because it goes to their head, and then they might think they're better than other people, and they might not even help a homeless person out, because hey, I got so much that I don't even want to get rid of it or anything. I want to just keep on getting more, and so I do know people out there where they wouldn't even help a homeless person, and they could have, they could have easily helped a homeless person out. So I hope that's not you. God loves you no matter what. There's none of us that are sinless, but we should work on the things that either we know that we got to work on, or when God actually reveals things that we need to work on, that we really should work on those things and get right with that, or get right with ourselves, get right with God, so things go smoother in your life. So anyway, I do love you so much. You can give this video a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, don't forget the notification bell, and you can also check out my playlist. Plus, you could share my video, so I don't know who your God is, but it's your choice who your God is, and a lot of Hollywood's stars out there, most of them are serving Satan, they're serving that master. They're not serving God, or they're trying to serve two masters, so you only could serve one. So I do love you. This is Star. Oh, besides, you can also follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. So anyway, I do love you. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.